let's talk about something I hate very much, and that's toxic positivity. Welcome back to the channel, tune in or ghost out. You've probably met somebody who is the definition of toxic positivity. No matter what you have going on or what's going on around you, they'll just tell you to just smile, bro. It's all about the vibes you put into the world. And don't get me wrong, your attitude does affect your outcome. Fake it till you make it is a real thing, but forcing the people around you and yourself to just put away feelings of anxiety, fear, sadness, or whatever else you're uncertain about at the moment just creates a toxic environment that leads people into paths of nihilism and apathy, in my opinion. And it's kind of scary how this starts. If you guys are not familiar with the terms, let's start with apathy first. This is categorized by the absence of emotion or enthusiasm. You just don't really have interest, motivation, or energy to do anything. For a lot of people in this age group, that is probably something you relate to heavily. And the way the world around you reinforces this mindset is by constantly telling you that the problems that you have are not that big and you should just move on because it's not that big of a deal. One of the characteristics of someone who's apathetic is just their withdrawal from society. I can't speak for everyone in this situation, but when I was younger and I would have these random bouts of depression, I remember feeling like I couldn't really say too much. Just because I was having a problem doesn't mean everyone around me was having a problem. And the times that I did reach out my hand for help, it was usually met with the remark that downplayed everything I felt, leading me to think that, you know what, I guess it's my issue, I'll go deal with it. And learning to deal with it is where that numb feeling comes from. Being apathetic, a lot of people just see it as being numb. You turn off those parts of you that react sadly or angrily to things just to find a cope. If I don't give it power, maybe it doesn't hold power. But in reality, it just makes you feel like a bird in a cage or a lion that's not able to roar. And I think that's what people who tout positivity so much need to understand. If you think of a lion and how it uses its vocal presence, it's not just to intimidate other animals or assert dominance. It's also to signify pain or discomfort or just a lack of not knowing. If they feel like they're being watched or have an uneasy feeling, they will let out a roar to just kind of give themselves power, reassure themselves. But as people, I think we've just gotten so used to such a soft world in our eyes compared to the world that we learned about growing up that was just farmland and hard work and really no safety. Now, a lot of us have an abundance of comfort leading us to boredom. And while we do have a lot to be grateful for, it shouldn't diminish the struggle that we all face in our life right now. But where does nihilism come into play of all of this? Well, when you reject your innate feelings and what you know to be true in your mood, then you end up at a place where you don't gain meaning, morality, or knowledge. You just become indifferent to everything you feel and it has no meaning to you. In my opinion, when you mix apathy and nihilism, you end up at a place of doom. One of the things you're told to do but not really taught how to do is view the world from other people's perspectives and be empathetic to what people are going through. But when you're never taught how to put yourself in someone else's shoes, it's hard to detach yourself from your worldview. When you think of toxic positivity, it's not really something that is inherently coming from a bad place. You might be having a bad day, but the world overall might be doing really well, and that person might be trying to hammer that in. I think we see this argument a lot of the times when we talk about economy. The economy is doing terrible, inflation is up, but people will tell you that the stock market is doing really well and this is a good time to invest, but you don't take into consideration that that person might just be struggling overall. And sometimes, rather than giving advice, some people just want to vent. I learned this from hearing it from my sister over and over. She would just say, I just want to vent. I'm not looking for an answer or a critique, just an ear to listen. And I think that's where men and women differ. It's not a secret that men have a hard time handling a wide variety of feelings, and that's because it's really not accepted in a lot of circles to feel certain ways. While society has come a long way, there is just a gap between men and mental health. And just like political beliefs, we usually end up on one of the extremes. We either go way too heavy into nihilism, or we just ooze get over it energy to a max degree. But finding a middle ground that can appreciate what the person is feeling while helping them find a way out becomes more murky as this time goes on, making it easier to fall into the trap of nihilism. I love how this mindset and philosophy has been gaining more and more attention as of late, but I think it is truly misrepresented in the way that people perceive it. Some of our greatest minds have talked about using the idea of nihilism to progress certain roadblocks or problems that they had, and they understood that even in the most optimistic philosophies, a part of nihilism was also infused. While purpose is structural to the reason that we even do anything in life, so is the belief that all moves are not major moves. Some things truly don't matter in the grand scheme of it. But when you're never taught how to separate the two, the meaningful and the the meaning lists, then you end up at a place of just confusion. The belief that there's no rhyme or reason to the things happening to you and that they're in fact just happening is what sends people down this terrible pipeline. I believe a lot of people our age would not be doomer if they just had people willing to hear them out. And I know we reference a lot of people who make YouTube videos and have a doomer perspective and kind of rag on them. I think that it's important to highlight that this is probably the only real form of attention or time they're given. Their tries and attempts to make a better life or a better mindset are all ignored and usually shot down, but when they take the time to express how down or doomer they actually are is when people show up and resonate. Instead of taking the easy approach of, well bro, just get over it, life moves on, society has never truly tried to address why they feel this way. And while I think this problem affects men and women differently, because I do think that women face toxic positivity in their lives as well, but I'm not a woman, so I can't necessarily speak from their perspective. Their circles are different than mine, but the overall feeling that your sadness, anger, anxiety are just feelings that should be put to the wayside to embrace the positive in front of you plague both genders regardless. But instead of addressing the issues that are leading to people adopting this ideology more than ever, we then just point at them and tell them to just stop making everything so sad. Imagine being kicked out of real life and then the virtual space that you made for yourself, you're also taught that you're bringing the mood down in that too. This is the constant cycle of undervaluing and underappreciating members of our society across all aisles, and it's something that plagues literally every industry of our life. Just hear me out. We could take Call of Duty for instance, a game that culturally peaked around BO2. That's probably when it had the most hype and just nostalgia for people, and since then has been a title plagued by literally nothing but hate. And the hate comes from a lot of the players that played during the quote-unquote golden era, but those players have been ignored and repeatedly told by Activision that they don't really matter. But as we sit here in 2025 with Black Ops 7 just about to release, we see that their beta numbers are struggling, their pre-order sales are down, and they're second place to Battlefield. Activision's plan worked up until they ostracized everybody from the club. Before, it was just, oh, the OG players can't adapt. Then it was, oh, well, go play Fortnite. And now all the people that were making excuses for Call of Duty are now saying it's dead. This is the same thing for society. Instead of listening to the people we ostracize and kick out and label as poor or undeserving, the larger the number of the people in those groups actually grows. Fast forward to present day, most people are having a bad time. That's just the reality of what's going on. Does that mean that life is just terrible? No. I think in the short term, life will be tough. In the future, there's so much advancement happening, you'd be crazy to think that life will just be the same that it is now. But if you have people in your ear telling you, well, I know your leg just fell off, but man, the bees are coming back, then you might have a heart attack before that future comes, man. And this is not even addressing the people who like to have a depression Olympics. Like, you'll tell them something bad and they'll be like, well, yeah, man, I know that sucks, but I just crashed my car, lost my house, and the bank is trying to foreclose on my kidneys. That's another problem. I think the positivity is just worse. Like, you can't put makeup on a pig, bro. It's not gonna change how I feel. It just reinforces making people stay silent on what they go through. And I think by the time someone even tells you that they have issues going on, then you should listen to them, because it takes a lot to get to that point. If they get to that point and you just meet them with a brick door of positive news that really doesn't affect you or them, then they're just gonna bite their tongue even more, and that never leads to anything good. I think to spread positive thinking, you have to understand why people are not always feeling positive. Life is not an upwards chart all the time. It looks more like a price graph. Someday you see nothing but green. Some days you wipe out all the progress you made in a month in a single day. And others, breaking even is just good enough. When you put the expectation that every day has to be a green day, then you set yourself up for unprecedented losses. Being real about life isn't hindering you, but being delusional is. Finding peace is understanding the rationale and why you even have emotions in general. I don't know what you believe in, but the Lord gave you a brain. I think utilizing it would be something that you should do. And that brain can see emotion. It can decipher small issues from big ones, and it can learn from you. Learning doesn't always have to come from an external medium. Understanding why you feel certain ways will help you in the long term control those feelings, which will put you ahead in life, and those skills cannot be bought. We are privileged to go through pain, just like we are privileged to feel prosperity, and understanding our mindsets in both times is how you actually find a solace. It's okay to feel something. A lot of these billionaires have such a hard time with you just living living your life, you still feel emotion, happiness, fear, sadness. They don't feel anything. Look at the people that are supposed to be your role models. Do you think Andrew Tate is genuinely a happy person? Somebody who spends a majority of their day on Twitter arguing with people. Attempt to mold your life in a way that brings you peace in the long run, not fake battles that you feel like you need to engage in all the time. Secure your safety, secure your family's safety, and also protect your peace. Don't let toxic mindsets and manipulation guide your beliefs. Suffer through the struggle and come out on the other side a stronger, well-rounded person. And we'll be here on that journey, man, because I'm going through it too. But again, what do I know? I'm a unemployed person that plays Call of Duty. If you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video, let me know down below in the comments. Is toxic positivity a good thing, or is it the most annoying thing ever? Once again, like and subscribe to join the thread. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Until next time.
Transmission complete. Signal terminating. This is ghostthread, signing off.